I've only had these controllers for about 2-3 months before I started suffering the dreadful stick drift. I play a lot of competitive shooters, well, specifically Pavlov, like a lot. So because I play competitive shooters, I use the sprint click very often, and I think that, no, it's for a fact, it degrades the analog sticks. And I have found a super simple solution of getting around this issue. I've tried multiple times to use, say, less pressure on the analog sticks, but suffice to say, you're gonna get stick drift, whether it be in 2 months or in 3. So, to hell with analog sticks. And I'm gonna show you the best way to bypass ever using this goddamn thing ever again. Valve was correct. As much as the Steam controller failed, it had the best potential out of all the controllers. Because of touchpad. You don't get dead zone issues with a touchpad. You won't have any of these other stick drift problems or not having to worry about clicks. The touchpad on the index controllers are a godsend. And I'm going to show you how to modify just 2 of my favorite games to using it to its optimal performance. Look at the index controllers. There's a reason why Valve put this thing way off to the side here. Okay? Because that little guy right there is useless. Okay? He wasn't even supposed to be there in the first place. Okay? When these controllers were still a prototype, the touchpad was the main faceplate area here. There was no analog. But obviously you had to put one because analogs are vastly preferred by the audience. But I am starting to understand now why these touchpads are so good, and I'm going to show you exactly how to use them. They take some time to get used to. It took me about a week or less, depending on how long you've been using the Vive wands. It took me about 2 weeks to get used to those. But these are superior to the Vive wands, and here's why. Based on this oval shape here, okay, hold on. Anyway, here is how you're going to use a gradual walk speed with the analogs. You just simply place your thumb right in the middle, okay? Right in the middle, and then you just slightly turn as if your thumb itself was the analog stick. You turn to the right, turn to the left, okay? Simply because of this oval shape and the way it's what's the word I'm looking for? Concave, you know, you just simply have to tilt your hand to get the slow movements. Now obviously if you want to have a full like speed to strafing to the right or to the left, you just simply put your thumb off to the edge as you normally would with the Vive wands. Okay, but for slight turning, this is so much easier just doing this, and this can only be done on this controller. I've tried it on the wands, but the disc shape is way too wide, so these slight movements become very subtle walking. Like in most games, they won't even register because that dead zone center is huge. Anyway, so I'm gonna modify Boneworks to use only the touchpad and ignore this analog, this thing that has caused people so many troubles. Okay, so let's start with Boneworks. Okay, I've already made a control scheme for myself, and I've saved it and everything, but I'm just going to use the default settings so you know what it'll look like from your perspective when it's your first time doing this, and I'll show you how to modify it. It's really simple. You see this category here, this little section that says thumbstick. To hell with this thing, delete it. Delete everything that says thumbstick on the left end only, not the right. We'll leave that there because no point of messing with it. Gone. Now simply take everything you saw on the thumbstick layout and place it on the trackpad layout. It is as simple as that. However, there is one more thing that needs to be modified. You need to add this here. Change this button to D-pad, and essentially the trackpad becomes, as it says, a D-pad. And we're gonna make the north press, so when you put your thumb up to the north end of the touchpad and you push it in, it will register as a run, okay, which should be thumbstick press. Okay, now specifically towards Boneworks, this does not work in Pavlov. Certain games allow you to run in any direction, so we're gonna take the south touch area here, and we're also gonna make that run, so you can run backwards. This is very handy in this game, so you definitely don't want to miss out on that. As for slow-mo, you can also add slow-mo to the D-pad as well. Now, if you aren't too keen on how to use the D-pad correctly without looking at it, I suggest you leave out this second option here. Just, you don't have to put it on the D-pad. You can leave it on A. However, sometimes, you know, it's a little bit more responsive to have the slow-mo on your movement, so you don't have to remove your thumb to press the A button. So leave it on the center click. Okay, I've tested it on east and west. I recommend not doing so, because if you reload and you just slightly put any kind of pressure while you're strafing to the right or left, which can happen in intense situations, you will spam slow-mo multiple times. So I've just learned my lesson and I removed these. Unless you're really good at handling your hands under pressure, no pun intended, you can modify these if you please. And now we're going to modify the Pavlov input control schemes so that we can use touchpad exclusively in this game as well. So the first thing we're going to do is immediately delete edit and delete the thumbstick. Do not need any of these. And we'll scroll up to the trackpad. We shall delete this and we'll edit that to use trackpad. Now, don't touch this area here. I don't know why, but the movement scheme is not in here. Also, you'll see sprint, but don't use that either. We're only going to use the position, which is to move. That's it. Now, just like in Boneworks, we'll take the D-pad section here and we'll add all our modifications. For example, in Pavlov, you can only sprint when running forward and your gun is tilted down. So obviously north on the D-pad will be sprint. As for the mag drop, we'll allow that to be south press, or south click, sorry, on the trackpad, because if you plan on dual wielding, you'll absolutely need to drop the mag this way, unless you want to use the scoreboard button. You can modify this to how you please, but this is just, I try to keep it to the original as close as possible. Less frustration this way. Also for putting the bullet back into the chamber, you'll also need this on the left hand as well. So we're going to use, I believe it was West for the original. We can check it over here on the right hand side here. Bolt release was North, so we're going to allow that to be West. Or you can have it East, however you please. I prefer it to be West. And you're all set.
Oh, fuck you. You like stole 3 of my kills, you
No, fuck
loser.
you, you're
He's
the
a party
bitch, you
pooper, the
motherfucker.
winner
Would you like an appetizer with that
sucks.
orange?
Choke on my pee-pee. Choke. Tú no puedes lo que